Hello, everyone, and welcome to Super Podcast Action Committee, episode 139. Andrew Eisen here, along with Jeremy Powers. Hi, Jeremy.
How's it going? How you been?
I've been all right. Yourself?
Busy with school. I'm almost done.
Oh, that must be nice. Then how many more years after school will you be paying for it?
Let's just move on. I feel like I'm paying for it now.
Oh, man. Yeah, I actually just finished paying for school last summer. And I graduated like 15 years ago. I graduated
better here.
Yeah, I graduated 2001, and right when the economy completely tanked, and then 9/11 happened, and the economy got even worse. So I had trouble getting a job, and because no one was hiring. And then as the economy started to recover, they started hiring back all the people they had laid off. So I was able to defer my student loans for a number of years, but I finally paid them off last summer, and I actually just paid off my car. So, with the exception of my dental appliance, I'm absolutely debt free. But anyway, let's see. LCD, Matthew. Thank you. Yes, LCD. Better Blacks. So
that's what I use.
Yeah. I did have an LCD, and the lag was just intolerable. So I actually do prefer that. Plasmas aren't as bad. I was very negative to plasmas when I first looked at them, but they have got a lot better over the years. The plasmas, blacks on plasmas used to be so crushed. They're a lot better now. They also have that quadrant lighting, where if you have real dark scenes, you can kind of see a light around the edge. Some of them.
Yeah, but I use one of the Quattros. It's got like the yellow, the extra pixel in there and stuff for the color quality. That actually does a really good job for just visuals in general.
Yeah, Matthew's bragging about he has his master's and no student debt. My sister actually, did she get her master's? I think she did, or she's working. I think she got her master's, and I don't know if she's still paying for it or not. Did we read the ESA report? Yeah, I skimmed it. Jeremy, did you look at the ECA?
I've seen some of it. I've been kind of out of the loop lately.
It's the same trends we see year to year. Everyone plays video games. Half the people who play video games are female. Most people who play video games are adults because we're all growing up.
I refuse to.
Yeah, well, we're getting older, at least. I mean, look at all the crap. You see no furniture in my house. You just see movies and games. That's all.
And yeah, my house is covered in video games, toys. I mean, you can see behind me on the shelf. Mm-hmm. This is our living room. This isn't my office. This is right in the middle of our house.
Yeah, let's see. Over here, that little bin right there, that's full of stuffed toys.
Oh, Lord. I picked up some other stuff last night. Oop, caught on the cord there. Randomly had a Zelda statue come in. I just grabbed it. We had the Twilight Princess.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there's always more stuff in this place.
Matthew says only 3% use reviews, I'm guessing, before to inform their purchases. Yeah, you know, I didn't catch that one because I just skimmed the report because I've been busy moving this week, that wouldn't really surprise me. I think a lot of people just use television commercials and kind of old school stuff, just what box cover looks cool. And while most people who buy games are adults, a lot of them are parents buying for their kids. Of course, parents these days more and more are gamers from their childhood, so they know not to buy, Chuck E. Cheese's Racing or some bargain bin crap. At least we can hope.
Sadly, a lot of them go straight for the most violent things they can, and they're just like, oh, they're going to play it anyways at their friend's house. It's fine.
Yeah, well.
I just kind of shake my head like, really?
Well, great. Now don't complain. These games are too violent. Well, stop letting your...
Well, the irony of it's kind of funny. It's like they're okay with like if they have to shoot somebody, but heaven forbid there's cursing in it. I've seen that argument. They were perfectly fine with shooting someone's head off and so forth, but if they said "damn it" or whatever else,
yeah,
they didn't want it.
Yeah, it's weird.
I live in a very weird part of the country.
What state do you live in?
Florida.
Florida? Oh, man.
We have all the nuts.
Yes. Yep. And we're going to talk about Jack Thompson later. So
Yep.
let's see. STL Creator just beat a 3-heart run of Twilight Princess. Nice. On the Wii or on the GameCube. The GameCube, of course, being the only true way to play the game.
You'd be wrong, but I mean,
I'm one of those.
I have both. I've played both. I honestly do prefer the Wii version.
I played Twilight Princess Wii version at E3 in 06, and it's solid. Really, the biggest problem I have is that they flipped the game. That just
They kind of had to do that for some of the stuff, just for general controls. But
I
just
still don't think so.
The statue I bought of Link, it is a lefty.
No, so, well, there you go.
Yeah, it's the GameCube version.
Yeah, Delirical says, "I want a Sony 4K TV now." Don't we all? Of course, the current run of video game consoles don't output in 4K. Hell, a lot of them don't output in 1080p. But oh my lord, are they expensive? Thousands and thousands of dollars for a decent sized 4K TV.
I need more content before I'd go out and put.
Yeah, there's not a lot of 4K content yet, so it's like I can play my 4K demo disc that I got at Prize Electronics.
Basically, you'd be spending all that money to get a TV just to make 1080p Blu-rays look bad because they have to upscale them. You're getting the DVD effect when you moved up to Blu-ray for Blu-rays. It's just
Yeah, so let's see. STL Creator did do the run on the GameCube. Good job. Matthew went to FSU for undergrad and grad, so he knows.
Yeah.
I think the whole country knows, because every time something weird happens, it's in Florida. Well, no, it was Indiana that had the religious freedom law that caused a great kerfuffle 2 weeks ago. So it's not always Florida, but
even I'll say it's mostly Florida.
Mostly Florida. Yeah. So STL Creator is about to start Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, and okay, that's that always seems to be everyone's least favorite of the trilogy.
I didn't like 3 as much. 2 had some nice mechanics to it, though. I mean, it was a gorgeous game, though.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I liked 2. A lot of people just didn't like the dark world. In that, if you're unfamiliar with the game, there's a light world and a dark world. But when you go to the dark world, the world is so toxic it constantly lowers your health, and you have to run from beacon to beacon. The beacons being points where you can stand and not be harmed by the toxic atmosphere, at least until you get a particular suit later in the game. Some people are like, I really don't like that. I want to relax and explore and look around, not frantically run to the next safe point. And I get that, but I quite enjoyed the game.
I mean, it's the same mechanic they had in Link to the Past. It's just stretched out more, because when you went to the dark world in that game, you were a bunny, you couldn't do anything, but you weren't there as long. This one it tends to drag out a little bit, which I think was the only downside I really saw to it.
Yeah. All right, so let us, boy, do I have this on the wrong spot. Okay, so poll. Let's look at the poll from 2 weeks ago, because we skipped a week for some reason. Easter, that's what it was.
That thing.
Yeah, Easter. And the poll asked, should Nintendo have DMCA'd fans free Super Mario HD remake? Now, for those of you who don't know, someone made in Unity, I think, an HD remake of the first level of Super Mario 64 and put it somewhere where people could get it. And Nintendo said, no. So let's see. The 351 people voted. Did I actually reveal the poll results to this? I think I might have. Let's see.
I
We
don't
did
remember.
that poll. Oh no, we did reveal the poll results for that. Well, let's reveal them again. 49% said if it's free, let it be. 8% said no, monetized fan projects should be left alone. Even monetized fan projects should be left alone. 23% said yes, Nintendo should have DMCA'd it. And 20% said yes, but only if it's going to make its own HD remake in the near future. So now let's see, where was the other one? Here we go. So the previous week, where Easter happened, we had a poll asking if you were Obsidian, would you have replaced the epitaph in Pillars of Eternity that some saw as transphobic? Now, a little background for those of you who don't remember, Pillars of Eternity was a game released last month, I think, by Obsidian. It ran a successful Kickstarter, got like $4 million to make this game. One of the backer rewards, if you pledged $500, you could write your own personalized message on one of the tombstones or memorial plates or epitaph or memorial stones. That's what they were, memorial stones in the game. And I think there were nearly 400 people who backed at that level. So somewhere in the game or spread out over the game are a bunch of memorial stones with personalized messages. One was a poem that some saw as transphobic or at least LGBT phobic. So some people brought it to Obsidian's attention. Obsidian looked at it and said, yeah, okay, we can see that. And then worked with the backer who wrote the poem to write something else. And he did, and they put it in the game. And all is roses and unicorns on Twitter, I'm sure. So the question was, if you were Obsidian, would you have replaced the epitaph in Pillars of Eternity? We had 342 people vote. 55% said no, I would have just let it be. That was the most votes. 18% said yes, as Obsidian did, I would have replaced it with a new epitaph by the original author. 4% said yes, I would have replaced it with a new epitaph by a new author. 2% said I would have removed it without replacing it, and 22% said I would have left leaving it, removing it, or replacing it up to the original author. So there you all go for last week's poll. But this week's poll, there is a movie for the BBC coming out at some point based on someone's book, David Kushner's book from 2012 called Jacked, The Outlaw Story of Grand Theft Auto. Now, I have not read this book, but from what I understand, it's chronicling the adventures of the Grand Theft Auto series from the perspective of Rockstar and how it got these games made and the controversies surrounding them. Jack Thompson, of course, is a big part of the controversy surrounding Grand Theft Auto. And it turned out that Bill Paxton will be playing him in the movie. So, let me actually close the poll. All right, so what do you think about Bill Paxton taking on the film role of Jack Thompson? We only had 73 people vote. I think I was a little late on the poll this week, or at least the poll article, so that might be why. Either that or you hear the name Jack Thompson and you're like, I can't, no. We finally got rid of him. I don't know, just no. So 73 people voted. 42% said, I think Bill Paxton will do a bang-up job. Nobody voted with no one voted for I'd have gone with someone else. I think this may be the first low responded poll, but this is the first time, I believe, that we've ever had no one vote for an option. 18% said Jack Thompson should play himself, and 40% said cut the role from the film, Thompson should be forgotten. So the winner, of course, was 42%, 31 votes, saying I think Paxton will do a bang-up job, but 29 people said the role should be cut from the film.
I think he ought to be there, but Paxton can play some crazy people pretty well.
Oh yeah, I think the casting is fine. The interesting thing about Thompson is in real life, if you ever meet the man, if you've ever seen him in public giving a talk or a lecture, he's an incredibly charming, funny, self-effacing, personable guy. It's really weird. You wouldn't think that from all the crap that he pulled, but I think the man just could not control himself on in his writing, you know. But when he was in front of an audience, you know, if you talk to him face to face, he was even kind of weird in you know, telephone interviews and stuff, but he was a lot better behaved there. But if you put him in a room with other people in an audience in an actual structured debate or lecture or talk, the man knew how to turn on the charm. It was really amazing. And I always thought to myself, man, if he would act like this all the time, he might have actually accomplished something at some point.
Well, thankfully he doesn't.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't agree with what you're trying to do, so I'm glad you acted like an ass and accomplished zero. And boy, did he just drop off the face of the earth.
That happens when you're disbarred.
Yeah, well, he was disbarred in 2008. And he, you know, for a year was crowing about how I'm, you know, going to take this to the Supreme Court and I'll have my license back and just you wait. And, you know, I've got stuff on people and, you know, posturing all this
speech.
Yeah. The same stuff he always said.
Yeah.
And then in fall of 2009, he found out a bunch of Facebook groups that were very mean to him. The Facebook groups like, I will pay anyone $50 to punch Jack Thompson in the face. Stuff like that. Stuff that absolutely should not be on.
Yeah, regardless, that's kind of pushing.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. But Thompson's method of dealing with this was to go straight to the CEO of Facebook and threaten to sue him. In fact, I think he did try to sue him for multiple millions of dollars for each of these Facebook, even though Facebook has nothing to do with its users making these groups. And I wrote Thompson and I asked him, I said, did you, you know, hit the report group button on the bottom of every single group? Yeah, did you try going through the proper channels? And he called me an idiot. Oh, so I hit the button myself and the next day it was gone. And so I wrote a story for Game Politics, something like 1 click later, Thompson Facebook group is gone. And that is the last we ever heard from Thompson. Almost. He has popped up like less than 5 times over the years. He occasionally pops up as a quick interview on some no-name radio station that I've never heard of. But other than that, the man just stopped. And I honestly, I hope he's happier now. I hope he has found his happy place, because unless he was just the world's biggest troll and truly enjoyed acting the way he did, I almost got the sense that this guy was one of the most miserable people on earth. But anyway, so Paxton, you think he's a good choice to play Jack?
Yeah, I mean, somewhere they have to put in the game over man line somehow, just to have him yell that.
The game over man?
Right. From Aliens?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hudson, I think that character's name is, if I'm remembering correctly.
No, yeah, it was Hudson.
Yeah. Yeah. Chat, do you have any opinions on this? Delirical says, I'm glad we don't hear from him. Matthew is still advocating nuking Twitter from orbit because it's a toxic wasteland. And I don't know. My experience on Twitter has been very nice.
Yeah, because everyone I've run into that was nasty, they have this lovely just block button, and they're gone. And I try not to. I don't want to remove everyone, just people that start getting really bad.
Yeah, I just don't hang around with jerks, so I managed to have avoided that element. I mean, even though I did a video on Sarkeesian a week or two ago, I didn't get any, like, I didn't get dogpiled. I didn't get discussions of that sort can oftentimes just bring in all sorts of people you've never spoken to, and they can dogpile you, and like, but no, maybe it's because I'm a white male. I don't know. Maybe if I were a minority or a female or something like that, that may have happened. Who's to say? But luckily, in my where I run in Twitter and Facebook, and even in the comments on YouTube, I rarely ever have a problem. I did boot one person from my Sarkeesian video comments because he or she just came in and all caps a bunch of profanity and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, we don't need this. Right. And I told two people to keep it civil and polite, because there are lots of discussions, really long discussions in that thread going back and forth. Yeah. And it'll boil down to, you stupid effing moron, and that kind of stuff. I'm like, no. Rein that back. We don't need that.
I'm always for having discussions on things, even if it's topics people get uncomfortable about. Oh, absolutely. Both sides should be heard about it, but you have to be careful because you can get too emotionally involved in it, and you will just kind of steer one way or the other. But it can get nasty quick.
But luckily, in my experience, most of the time, and in these cases over on my channel, both people said, "Okay, sorry," and life goes on. It's easy to get heated about the things you are passionate about.
Yeah, and then you're always going to have those people that are just straight up there to get a reaction. The things they say, out of the blue, like some of the articles I've been in or talked to people, the things they would pop up and say, I was. Good job.
I had the lid on. It's okay.
Could ruin your computer there. But they would get fairly nasty. We'd have to have the issue taken care of. But it didn't even seem like they were even trying to do anything for the argument. They were just there to see how angry they could make people if they could kind of push it one way or the other.
Yeah. There are the trolls who do the trolly thing. The interesting thing about trolls, though, I guess it's the anonymity that makes them not care, but most trolls troll by appearing to be genuinely stupid. They make comments, and you read the comment, and you're thinking, well,
there's no way.
Fantastically idiotic. I mean, what you have just said is as stupid gets. And I imagine you're saying that just to troll, but do you really want everyone to think you're a stupid idiot? I mean, is it worth it to you? I mean, it's like, everyone thinks I'm a stupid asshole, but it's worth it, man, because reasons. I've never really understood that.
And it's been around for everything, for conversations, for gaming. I mean, hopefully some of the stuff on Steam with some of the changes they're making that might actually thin out some of them here soon, but yeah, it's good Lord.
Yeah. So let's check the comments here. Dr. Mecca, I think you're new, so hello. Says Gamergate merch got banned from all the Canadian conventions. Didn't hear that.
I did see that one. Not the merchandise, their whole booth. They tried to set up a booth. And they were like, nope, you need to go.
Well, that was a exhibitor who was kicked out for applying under false pretenses. They broke the rules and got booted.
Right.
That's what happens. At least that's what that's in Calgary, I think, right? Let's see. Yeah. So most people troll just to watch the influx of comments and arguments, says Old School. Yeah. There are a couple people on my Sarkeesian video who I really want to correct on things that they've got factually wrong.
I have seen you a lot of times pop up and be like, okay, well, where's your proof? Like, what article can you link to that she did this or said that? Or...
Well, yeah, a lot of times
they never do. Not once.
Yeah. That's true. But what I find interesting is some people are so I made a for those of you who don't know, I made a video called "My Favorite Thing About Anita Sarkeesian's Tropes versus Women" videos. Spoiler, in case you don't want to watch the 8.5-minute video. My favorite thing is the fact that she often gets me thinking about my favorite media in new ways. And as I say in the video, it doesn't have to be something, earth-shattering or life-changing. It doesn't even have to be something I agree with. As long as it's something interesting or fun or cool or new to think about, I like that. And that's it. It's like, there's enough negativity on the internet. Let's just do something positive, just for a change of pace, just for variety's sake. And there are some people who they're like, no, there can be nothing positive. Let me spend half an hour of my time writing 1,000 words detailing every single thing she gets wrong in her videos. I'm like, why? What? Is it really that important to you? It's so weird to me, because I don't do that. And when I don't do that, I think no one else does that. I have no interest in cars. So when people are like fanatics over, car magazines and, oh, it's this model of car with this size engine, I'm like, why are you into that? I don't get that. Because I'm not into it, so I don't understand it. But so I see these people write these multiple paragraph essays, and I read them, and it's like, wow, no hyperbole, literally every single sentence is wrong. I mean, it's like I would have to write 1,500 words to, sentence by, and that's not including the quoting you, so you know what I'm talking about. It's like, oh my God. I mean, for example, one guy starts out and goes, in her first video, she fails to mention that Peach is, because she uses Peach as an example of damsel in distress and talks about how she's playable in only one of the core Mario platformers. At the time of recording, it's 2 now. And they say, well, she doesn't mention that she's playable in all the Mario sports games and the Super Smash Brothers and Mario Party. And I'm thinking, wow, first sentence and you're totally wrong. She does. She has an entire paragraph. I can quote it for you. It's right here. She does ignore that. She explicitly points that out. Yeah.
You can tell which ones actually objectively watch it and the ones that just yell.
Yeah. I think a lot of it comes across that a lot of people, now some people watch them and just flat out object to them, which is fine. But a lot of people, I'm like, have you only watched like Thunderfoot's videos or something? Because there is no way you could possibly watch unless a lot of these people are watching the videos and just arguing with them as she's talking instead of actually watching and listening to what she's saying.
That's actually a great visual.
Yeah, the angry stuff. Damsel ball. Yeah, I know. I like that phrase, damsel ball.
Oh Lord,
damsel ball. I love that. Anyways, so Jack Thompson. I have to wonder if Jack Thompson were around today, would he be doxxed and swatted and harassed and threatened like a lot of other people are today, or
he would be? I guarantee it.
Would he?
Somebody, I mean, you got people threatening, they wanting to kill him, they're wanting to do this stuff to punch him, and someone would be dumb enough to go that far to try and swat him, to anything that they think is going against them, regardless of the argument. Someone will be dumb enough to try it, especially someone as much of a target as Jack Thompson, and he would use that to parade it around like how he's being persecuted and what's going on.
What's interesting is back in the day, back in later 05, 06, and 07, there were a lot of mean comments directed Thompson's ways, but he never got swatted. I don't know if he got any death threats. I'm sure he must have. Someone must have sent him a death threat, but I remember some of the phone calls that Thompson shared, and they were pranks. Like, is your refrigerator running level of prank?
Right.
He never shared any recordings with people going, "I'm going to murder you and your children." You know, he was never swatted. Swatting wasn't really a thing. I mean,
Yeah,
the worst that happened
listen,
to Thompson is some people put flyers on his door for something, uh, and a bunch of people sent him flowers. That,
I remember that.
you remember
He got
flowers for
pissed.
Jack? That was kind of the extent of the harassment towards Thompson.
He was angry about that too. I was like, dude, you got
Oh
flowers.
yeah,
It's
it's like,
that's if that's the only way you can hate on me, like at least it's
yeah.
peacefully.
I mean, it's like I would prefer the mean people of Twitter today, you know, send Sarkeesian and Brianna Wu and Randy Harper and Zoe Quinn and everyone who they're doxing and threatening with rape and stuff. Send them cupcakes and flowers and balloons instead. That would be much nicer.
Hate them with love.
Hate them with love. Yes, I hate you with love.
That drives. I think in just years
Bathe
of
in my
working at
love and
stores so forth,
despair.
if
Sorry,
you are
what?
just as kind as possible to someone that is just furious at you, I think it's even that much worse. It's like the most antagonistic thing you can be is completely nice and level with someone as they're screaming at you. People hate that.
Yeah, but I try not to. I did a video a while back. Terra censorship solves everything.
Mhm.
Terra is a Korean, I think, MMO, and one of the controversies was there's a race in the game called the Elan, which
Okay.
look like very very hippie 12-year-olds, not hippie as in 60s flower child, but a bottom of the hourglass hippie.
Uh,
Um, and
some people around here call that apple bottom, I think.
Oh, that
Seriously,
okay.
that's actually what they call it. Mm.
Yeah. So they're very they're supposed to be like wood nymph type of things. So
Uh,
they have very female, very youthful female appearance, but they're not built like 12-year-olds because 12-year-olds don't have curves like that. But they are very childlike in appearance. They have animal ears and tails, and a third of them are dressed now there's plenty of characters with pants, but there are plenty of them that are wearing your typical fantasy underwear and cloak, you know.
less is more.
Exactly. So Frogster and Enmass, the publishers, decided to just they say, all right, well, our American and European friends are going to pitch a fit over this, so we better add a half an inch of fabric to those underoos. So instead of wearing underwear, they're wearing kind of like booty shorts. So I made a video talking about censorship.
Mm-hmm.
And how I don't like censorship and how it's dumb, especially the way they approached it was really, really stupid. And that video is still, I think that's probably one of my most, it's not my highest viewed video, but it's one of my most consistently watched over the years. And I had someone make a statement that I'm basically some type of pervert who just wants to watch little girls in their underwear. And someone responded to her and said, did you even watch the video? And she goes, no, I skipped around, but I got the point. And I responded to her and I said, you don't have to watch my video, but just so you know, that's not the point I make in the video. If you don't believe me, watch the video. If you don't care, that's fine. But it's kind of amazing. I love how people, or I don't love, but it's interesting how many people will just jump to conclusions. Will just assume what you think or what you really meant.
Oh yeah.
And anyway, so let us move on to a new topic here. And
Okay.
I'm actually running a stopwatch, and I didn't write down the timestamp, so let me do that this time. 34:20. Sorry, folks. I usually have Zachary do this, but he's not here. Zachary's doing family things today.
Congrats to him again and his family. So
yeah, whatever they're doing, I don't even know. So the Pirate Bay, one of the co-founders of the Pirate Bay, two of which I think are in prison right now, but one of them being in prison, I think he was locked away last November, is a little bored like you probably would be in prison, and
Mhm.
said, "Hey, can I have an NES? You know, the NES, it's not online. It's just something to help pass the time." And the prison said no. And their reasoning being, the console is sealed in such a way that it cannot be opened without the machine being destroyed. Which is,
Yeah,
I mean, you do need a security bit screwdriver,
of that one, yes, you do.
but it's a screwdriver. I mean, there are actually hacks, life hack type of things where you melt the end of a Bic pen to kind of create your own little security bit screwdriver. You can also Dremel out a flathead screwdriver to, to kind of a fork and get it in there. It's like that. If you're personally, I think this was. Well, I'm wondering. It's like, did you just go? No, you don't get any games, you bad pirating bad guy, you. And they're like, wait. I mean, aren't games allowed in prison? They're like, oh yeah. Well, you can't. You'd have to use a sledgehammer to open up a Nintendo. So
They're like bricks. You just can't get in them. It's impossible.
yeah, impossible. You can't do it. Screwdriver? No, there are no screwdrivers in Sweden. None. Flathead, the Phillips head, security bit, no screwdrivers.
I have to take apart NESs and things like that all the time, and they're not that difficult. You just have to have the right couple of screwdrivers and you're in. Putting it back together can be a bit tricky with the pin set, but maybe they're just not smart enough to do it. I don't know. Like, I can only imagine what the technical people there working at a prison would be. So,
man, yeah, that's no screw I ever seen. It's impossible to get in here. The pirate Frederick, the Pirate Bay person, says that the institution lacks a screwdriver which costs 100 kroner cannot be considered reasonable. One has to wonder how many other victims there are when all video game units of the brand Nintendo have the same screwdriver. I have no idea what that last sentence means. I just thought I'd read it. But yeah, he's like, that's the dumbest thing. So what do you think's going to happen here? Do you think they'll be pressured into getting a damn screwdriver and opening the sucker?
They'll probably find something else that they want to play, and they'll just get that instead. Like, we'll give it to you, but we're going to use it most of the time.
Yeah, they'll say, well, there's some game stuff in the common room. You can come out and play those.
Right. I love the irony of the fact that someone who most of their business is on taking the property of the IP of these things and putting it out for people to download now can't actually get a hold of the physical copy that he wants.
He's like, damn it, if I had internet access, I could just download emulated copies of these games. I could just download an emulator and the ROMs from my site if it's still up. So, yeah. All right.
I'm sure they'll probably eventually get to it, or someone will find a way to do it.
So, all right, new topic. And
right.
Again, sorry, I gotta write it down a timestamp. There we go. Let's see. Oh, Minecraft. Yes. So there was a Pakistani programmer who yesterday revealed that he nearly 2 years ago noticed a really serious security flaw in the Minecraft server software that makes it apparently very easy for anyone to crash a server hosting the game. I don't know how exactly he tried to get Mojang's ear. I would imagine, email or maybe commenting on message boards or something. Right. But apparently this guy said, I didn't want to make this public, but I've been trying to, let's see what he says. He says, on the one hand, I don't want to expose thousands of servers to major vulnerability, yet on the other hand, Mojang has failed to act on it. And apparently he'd been trying for 21 months. So he published this fact, and by golly gumfrey, the very next day an update goes out. And one of the bugs is malicious clients can force a server to freeze, and malicious clients can force a server to go out of memory. So looks like those are the exploits that have been patched up, and your Minecrafts are secure now. So do you think that this is something that Mojang was actually working on and it took him 21 months, or something that he didn't quite go through the right channels to reach them, and it just got lost in the shuffle, and they didn't notice it until yesterday when it went super public. What's your impression?
The timing is too perfect for them to have just, oh, we happen to be working on it, and you happen to say something the day before we happen to put everything out. I think, he tried to communicate with them, and I don't know how he could have. He might have tried, like I said, email or the support system. Someone should have been able to at least look into it, because if they could fix it in one day, it's probably pretty obvious what they could do with it.
Yeah.
And until, 21 months, that's a long time, until he finally just like, all right, fine, here it is, put it out there. But at least he thought about other people's servers, before he put all that stuff out there. He didn't just, oh, look what I found, and just pushed it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there's a chance they couldn't have fixed it right away, and that could have really caused a lot of problems for people.
Agreed. So Matthew says there's no way in hell that they weren't listening.
Yeah. Now, mind you, this is also during the whole time that Microsoft was buying Mojang and everything. They could have just been back and forth on what team is actually handling what now. And
yeah, I've heard from there are a few, I forget who it is, but we've got a couple of Minecraft fans over on Game Politics who have mentioned that features that Mojang have been promising for years, and I don't remember what they are still not there. They said, we're going to do this, and they still have not.
They Molyneuxed it.
They Molyneuxed it. I like that.
I was coming up with all kinds of phrases tonight.
Yeah, that's good. I should be writing these down because I'm going to
what's being recorded.
Yeah,
that's my evidence later on that I said it first.
Yeah, that's right. Old school says he should have hacked them and said, "See, all your base there belong to me now."
Yeah,
you
then they could
have
have come
listened.
after them.
Why didn't you listen? I told you I'd crash your server, but you didn't believe me. Why didn't you believe me? So
all the while yelling at a blank screen because no one can hear him. The server's down.
Yeah. There you go. Okay. So new topic and timestamp. Boy, I'm glad when I have someone else doing that. Okay, so last week or the week before, whenever it was, we talked about a New Jersey lawmaker who's trying to increase or toughen up the punishments for swatting. So instead of getting X amount of years, you get X amount of years plus 2, and the fine is greater. He's trying to make it a greater punishment for swatters. He got swatted. So
I about to say that whole mentality worked out so great for the war on drugs and everything.
Well, increase the punishment, because it's like, well, so people are using, people have a behavior that they do. It's like, okay, what's the punishment? X years in prison. Well, are they still doing that behavior? Oh, well, I guess the only reason is that the punishment is not strict enough. So we'll just keep upping the punishment until we find the proper balance, where people are like, oh man, I want to break this law, but that's a lot of punishment right there. So I think I'll pass. Let's see, who is it? It's a New Jersey Assemblyman, Paul Moriarty. And let's see, do we have a quote? Yeah. Luckily, it was another case of he was able to contact law enforcement and let them know that this is, someone had swatted him. Police still, of course, showed up and, come out with your hands up. And okay. So no one was hurt. Everyone was fine. But of course, taxpayers are still on the hook for whatever it costs to send everybody out.
The equivalent of a portable paramilitary group now.
Yeah. So there's some interesting... oh crap! I got comments on YouTube that I haven't looked at. So the Game Politics article has some interesting comments from Infofile. Says swatters are notorious for not thinking through the consequences of their actions, but this really takes it to a whole nother level. Not only does it have not only does it have all the standard risks of swatting, but it also adds the fact that it's likely to anger someone who's already trying to make the punishments for what you're doing to him right now even worse. There's not even a metaphor for that. Zachary replied and says, there's also the factor that whoever made the call knew exactly what they were doing based solely on the target. The person making the call knew what the consequences are and still did it anyway, so in the end it's nothing more than an intimidation tactic, and Infophile agrees that's a type of taunt. Now,
if someone got hurt or killed, that could be viewed as premeditated at that point too. I mean, even if it was by proxy, they still knew what they were doing, caused that.
Could be. I hope we never have to find out exactly how they'd what laws they'd try that under. But do you agree that this was not a coincidence, that whoever swatted him with full knowledge that this is the guy who's trying to up the punishments for swatting?
They knew exactly. This is the same as we said at the beginning of the show with the thing, if Jack Thompson was still around, if he had been swatted, they knew exactly what they were doing and who they were sending it at. You don't try and make laws about this and then all of a sudden have it happen to you out of the blue, because this doesn't happen to just anyone. Someone has to target you and send them to your place of residence or your place of business to have this happen. Every single time someone gets swatted, it's on purpose. They have chosen that person and they're doing it for some reason, some stupid reason, and they're endangering people. I mean, if they go into a house and children are there, they go running out, or they may not stop. I mean, my daughter, if that happened here, she doesn't know to stay somewhere. She runs around constantly. She would not heed someone's warning. She'd just come running out, and heaven forbid what would happen if someone was just trigger happy.
Damn.
And, that can happen in a lot of places.
Yeah, that's scary stuff, man.
Yeah.
So folks at home, do not swat.
Yeah, it's not a
Send
joke.
Flowers instead.
Yeah.
Send Jeremy flowers. Hate us with your love.
I get that a lot, actually.
All right. Well, you're married, right?
Yeah, 15 years now.
Yeah, so you get it all the time, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So let's see. We're actually doing pretty good on time here. And I lost my stopwatch. There it is. Okay, so new topic. As soon as I write in a timestamp. Always 20 seconds after the minute. That's interesting. Okay, so Mortal Kombat X.
Ah, yes.
Are you a fan of fighting games, Mortal Kombat specifically?
Yes, actually I am. But I did not buy this one.
No?
Nope.
Let me say this before we get into it. If I were, I like fighting games. I don't like playing them, but I do like them. Smash Brothers is so much Nintendo goodness. I'm all over that. Although I never.
Oh yeah.
Mortal Kombat's one of my favorite fighters. Probably my favorite fighter, just because it's visually so much fun. I'm a gore hound. I love horror movies and real splattery gore movies, stuff like that. So I've always loved the Mortal Kombat games. And I love looking. I love
this time.
Yeah, I love looking at all the characters and their designs and their move sets and their fatalities and their organs and their innards and stuff. However, if I were going to buy Mortal Kombat X, I would wait until the inevitable Game of the Year edition, which includes all of the DLC and stuff, for probably $40 for the entire package.
I'd happily pay $60 for it, just if it's everything and it's done. It's.
So what I'd like to talk about is Mortal Kombat X has some microtransactions. Like previous games, it has the crypt, where you can go in, you can earn coins, which I'm sure is spelled with a K, and then go into the crypt, which is also spelled with a K, and unlock stuff. Unlock the different fatalities and costumes and production art and fun things like that. Now, there are microtransactions in the game such that you can buy coins. You can also buy and unlock the entire crypt. You don't have to play the game. You don't have to I think it's like $20. Just unlock the entire thing. Why play our game? Why pay $60 and play the game when you can pay $60 and then $20 to unlock everything in it?
plus another 30 to get more characters,
That's
and
right.
another 5 if you didn't pre-order and get Goro.
Right. Goro is a pre-order bonus who will be
It's
sold
$5 otherwise. Yeah.
Man, that's a little. I mean, I
Well, I
realize.
think it's 5. Don't hold me to it.
What do you think about the pricing for an individual fighter character? Do you think $5.99 is too steep? I mean, I realize how much work and effort
I
modeling,
do.
animation, and design and stuff that goes into these things, but holy crap, that just seems like a lot to me.
It'd be one thing if you get the character and you get all the stuff associated with them, all of his costumes, things like that, and it's something they actually worked on after the fact that came out later. The thing that bothers me about Mortal Kombat, and like the last game, I absolutely loved it. I got it the day it came out. They did a good job with it. It took a little while, and they started adding in more characters, and then they had a complete edition. Mm-hmm. I learned my lesson on that with Injustice, which I bought it. I got it on Wii U, and
well, it came out on Wii U. I think like a few months.
It was the same day.
Everything. Oh, was it?
No, it was day and date.
It was the DLC that they dragged their feet on for a long time.
Right. No season pass.
One way or the other if we'd get any of it.
Yeah, and then we did get all of it, but there was no complete edition, so you have to buy it all separately. But then on this one, you pay the $60 to get the game. If you didn't get it pre-ordered, you don't get Goro until later because he's not even part of the season pass. If you pay the $30 for that, and there's already people that have hacked it and found more characters in the game that are already there, fully fleshed out, movesets and everything, that haven't been announced yet that you're gonna have to buy that are on the disc.
Right. Well, there in the ones I've seen so far are one of them is the DLC character, Tanya, I think. Okay. And Rain and Baraka and Sindel. From what I understand, you meet and fight them in story mode. So the character model and animations would have to be on the disc.
Well, they found that they triggered it by switching out the name they were identified with another character, and they would get pulled up, but they had all their stuff listed in the menu for their movesets, fatalities, everything was there like a fully fleshed out character. You just hadn't paid money to unlock it yet.
Right. So that's definitely some on-disc DLC shenanigans there, which is something I really don't like. No matter how you want. I mean, stuff like the Predator and Jason Voorhees, who aren't actually in the game so far as we know. Those I don't mind, because these are extra. They're not in the story. They're not part of the universe. They're just fun extra characters that we made that you can have if you're not. That I'm okay with. But even if they weren't already on the disc, Sindel, Baraka, and Rain are already in the game. It seems really cheap. I mean, it would be like if no need for an analogy. It just sucks.
Well, it's a weird back and forth. Like you have parts of classic Mortal Kombat for unlocking characters and the new crappy way of buying them on the same screen. On the left bottom corner, it's like beat the story mode to unlock this character. Oh, okay, cool. I can just go do that and get it. On the right side, Goro's there. And it's like buy him on the store day one. I'm like, what the hell?
Can't I just beat the game and unlock him? Like God intended.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. Like, okay, if you don't want to waste the time, like say, whatever reason, you want to pay the money to unlock the stuff, the crypt. That's your call. You can do that. It doesn't change how the game is played. But getting different characters is going to change the balance for how you play it versus how your friends play it. If you've got it or they don't. There's even the one you can buy. I think it's like $5 to make. Was it fatalities easy?
Yeah, I was gonna bring that one up. Yeah. The easy fatalities, which are 1 or 2 button presses for.
And I'm okay with that too. If like you want to get it, and you have friends that are playing with you. If they may not be nearly as skilled, let them have some fun with the fatalities. It's $5. You can do that. It's a convenience, but it doesn't change the core of the game. But having characters right there that you can't play that other people can because they've hacked it, that kind of hurts. I mean.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the super guide things that Nintendo has done in a few of its games. Donkey Kong Country Returns had it. Super Mario 3D World, I think, has something like that. Galaxy 2 had it. Essentially, if you die a bunch of times in a level, a super power up or a character that will play the game for you, just to so you can get past this level will pop up. What would you think if that was if instead of that, the White Kong or whoever or Rosalina popped up and said, "I'll get you through this level, Mario, for $1.99."
Oh God, that'd be the end of the world for me. Because I mean, my kids, people laugh about those. They're like, "Oh, it ruins the game" and so forth. Well, if you don't want to use it, you don't have to. You just like,
I just wish I
cool,
could toggle it off in the menu. Really,
that would be kind of nice. My kids use it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
My younger two, constantly, they use those to play it, and they're having fun with it. That's fine. But yeah, just that would suck. Because Nintendo, their way of handling DLC, I'm very back and forth on that. I don't like the idea of it to a point, because like with Smash Brothers, I like the fact it was everything all together. I had the game, it was done, and they're kind of adding stuff in. I hope they release a version later on that has it all. Because say for instance, Wii U version has a long life like Melee did. You get a copy of Melee, you have every character available. 10 years from now, you may not be able to get all the Mewtwo back or all of those. So in tournament play, it's not going to last because they're going to be gone. You can't download them once they turn that off. But they also take the time after the fact to add them in, like the Mario Kart tracks. That's not, they're here available day one. They've taken their time and really worked on it and made it affordable.
A lot of time in the case of Mario Kart.
Yeah, but
maybe too much.
Yeah, it took a little while, but there's nice levels though.
Yeah, I've actually, surprisingly, Nintendo has been doing some really great things with DLC lately. Mario Kart 8, I think it's fairly priced, and it's
$11.
Yeah, well, for both of the packs.
I know, but half the game
$7.99 for both, or $11.99 for individual, and $11.99 if you want to buy both.
Right.
And for each pack has, I think,
8 tracks,
8 full new tracks,
yep.
4 new cars, and 3 new characters, something like that.
So in total for both packs, for $11, you're getting 16 new tracks, 8 new carts, and 6 new characters. And then
plus
if you want
the 200cc thing, is that exclusive to
free.
the pack? That's free. Okay.
Yeah, everyone gets that, and that's compatible with every track they've already made.
Old School points out that $1.99 to engage the super play type of feature is less expensive than calling the Nintendo hotline back in the 80s. That's true. For those of you who are younger, back in the 80s and even early 90s, you could call the Nintendo hotline and get tips for any game you were stuck on. So you could call a 900 number, and for X dollars a minute, you would talk to someone. It's like, how do you do Baraka's fatality in Mortal Kombat 2? And they'd tell you. And of course, this was before the internet, so they had people in cubicles with huge binders, and they'd pull them out and they'd flip through it and look this stuff, and they'd have maps and lists and all kinds of weird stuff. Man, then's were the days. Now you just Google it.
I still see, I have a good collection of like old Nintendo powers and stuff like that, and the ads all throughout it. Call the Nintendo helpline.
Yeah. So yeah. The also the Hyrule Warriors DLC has been really fantastic. For 20, yeah, for $20, you get there are a couple separate costumes that you can buy that were part of, I think, where you pre-ordered. Yeah, because one was the Twilight Princess costumes, and one was the Skyward Sword costumes, and they're 99 cents each, which is kind of steep for a costume, I think. But
it's a whole set, but yeah, still.
Well, it's two or 3 characters. I think it's just Link and Zelda, but
and Ganon.
Yeah, right, and Ganon.
But, yeah.
But there's 4 packs for $20. You get 4 packs, and it is like literally 100 or 200 hours of content. Now, granted, you're doing some of the same stuff over and over, but
also the adventure maps and
the
weapons are hilarious.
I wrote the guide for Hyrule Warriors, and it took me 7 weeks. I think I clocked 170 some odd hours in the game, and that was that was none of the DLC. That was just the base game. So
right.
Smash Brothers, we'll see what they do. They just released Mewtwo, which I'm sure is sold separately at some point.
It's free right now for everyone that
bought both versions.
Registered, registered both.
And registered both versions.
Right.
And then Lucas is coming out at some point.
There's the costume packs that are available right now too. You can get for
your Miis, right?
But they're completely optional. They don't change the game. It's just, hey, do you want to look like Link? You can,
Yeah, or Proto Man or Mega Man X, and
I'm not gonna lie, I bought them all. I did it.
Now, Dream Peppers, you were here an hour early, and now you're here an hour late. How did you do that? Yeah, we have a few people in the chat who are not fans of what Mortal Kombat's doing with the DLC. Let's see.
I mean, I've played it. I mean, on the game itself, it is beautifully done. It's so much fun to play, but it's just too much. Oh yeah, yeah. We actually played it at a launch event before it came out, and it's so well made and such a good fighting game. But I just cannot get around paying full price for it and knowing I'm gonna have to pay almost another half or another full price just to get all the content. I mean, I'll just wait and get a complete one because they've proven for the last 2 main games they've done, they're going to do this.
Yeah. So. But it's still not as bad as Lego Dimensions. I remember probably a year ago, I was bitching about Skylanders or Disney Infinity, one of the two, and now Amiibo, because I don't like the pay full price for a game and then buy expensive toys to unlock stuff in the game that you just paid full price for. I hate that. So
you're not liking that.
Yeah. So there's the Amiibo. Let's go back over to you. Show that again.
And Disney Infinity and other ones.
Yeah, that's nice. Well, look at all that. Well, let's see.
I'm guilty.
Yeah, I do have a handful of Skylanders here. I got a couple more on the floor. But my excuse is I wrote the guide for Swap Force, so I had to have these because I had to write the guide. These were purchased for me so I could write the guide. So, and to be fair, Skylanders is an okay game. I haven't played Disney Infinity yet. It looks terrible, but I'll give it a chance.
It's got some fun parts, and my kids enjoy it for certain pieces. But Skylanders, mechanically, I think is a better game.
Yeah.
But the creation part is it's a whole Minecraft sandbox type thing you can do. So each one has its own pluses and minuses. But they sold me as soon as they went to Marvel comic book characters. I'm a big comic book nut. They had me.
Yeah. So anyway, Lego Dimensions is your Lego game. Let me back up. A year ago, I was talking about how much I hate Skylanders and that a business model. And I said, imagine a Lego game. You play a Lego game and there's 160 characters to unlock, and you unlock them by finding tokens throughout the world and then purchasing the character using the in-game currency that you collect. And there are vehicles to unlock. There are 160 characters and 30, 40, 50 vehicles and all kinds of cool play sets and stuff. Now, imagine if you were playing Lego City Undercover, and every character that you wanted to unlock, every playset that you wanted to unlock, every vehicle you wanted to unlock, you had to go to Toys R Us and actually buy the minifig or the playset. You want to go into the police station? You better go to Toys R Us and buy the PlayStation set, or buy the little Rex Fury, whatever his name is, minifig, and scan him into the game. And that's what Lego Dimensions is. That's that game. So you pay now, instead of paying $50, well, usually Lego games are like $40 or $50. Instead of paying $40 or $50 and having access to all of the content in the game, unlockable by playing the game that you just purchased, now Traveler's Tales wants you to pay $100 for Lego Dimensions and then go out and buy a bunch of more toys to unlock the content in the game you just paid $100 for.
Yeah, that's going to be ridiculous.
Lego Jurassic Park comes out this fall. I think Amazon has it listed for $49.99.
Sorry about the kids. Hold on just a second.
That's all right. Dream Peppers got distracted by a TV show.
All right, so we're about the Legos.
So Lego Jurassic World comes out. I think Amazon has it for $40 or $50.
Right.
There's a Lego Avengers game coming out this fall too. I will buy I love the Lego games. I even put up with the really crappy programming and how all their games are chock full of bugs. I put up with that because I just love the Lego games. But I will not buy Lego Dimensions. No,
I'm not either.
No,
as much as I want to play as Doc Brown and Marty McFly.
Oh, I know. They've got so many cool things. It's all Warner Brothers. You can tell who's publishing the game.
Mix I've ever seen. It's like, here's Wizard of Oz, and then all of a sudden here's Back to the Future, and I'm like, wait, what?
It's all Warner Brothers property. So yeah. Oh. So to be fair, I think the only Lego game I did not buy was Lego Guitar Hero, or was it Lego Rock Band? Which one is it?
Lego Rock Band. I have
Lego Rock Band.
I like the music that was on it, and it was so funny to play it. But you could take the music and export it into Rock Band as well. So I got all the songs on the normal Rock Band, plus me and the kids could play the Lego one and laugh at all the stuff they did. So
Dream Peppers asked what Lego game for the Wii U would recommend for you to start.
Lego Marvel. I'd say Lego Marvel. That's me.
Lego Marvel is a solid choice. Lego City Undercover is also a good one. That one's exclusive to the Wii U. It's kind of like Grand Theft Lego.
Yeah, the biggest thing I like to say is a lot of the Lego games, the good ones, have the co-op. And even with a little bit of a dip in the frame rate, the co-op on the Wii U one I prefer because you don't have to split the screen.
Yeah.
You get one view, they get another one.
That's true. So Wii U is a good console for multiple players, or at least 2 players.
Yeah, we did the Hyrule Warriors too.
Yeah, if you are a humongous Marvel fanboy, the Lego Marvel Superheroes, good choice. They're also coming out with the Lego Avengers game later this fall. I'm sure it'll be great.
That one.
Yeah, Lego City Under. Well, they haven't shown anything from it yet. It was just in a press release along with Lego Jurassic World and Lego Ninjago for the 3DS. Delirical, where do you work? Do you work at a games retailer? Delirical says, I'll let you know how it sells when it comes to my job. Oh, I have no doubt that Lego Dimensions will sell gangbusters. No doubt in my mind. It's going to do huge, and I don't understand people who buy it. I don't understand you, Jeremy.
I'm not going to buy Lego Dimensions.
Oh, okay.
I'm skipping it because it's just too much. $100. We don't know what it actually plays like. We have no idea how the figures are going to work.
Now, one neat thing is the portal of power. It's a
Lego set. You have to actually put it together.
Yeah, you have the thing that you put the things on to scan them into the game, which actually doesn't scan them into the game. It just unlocks the stuff that's already there. You can actually build. You build the portal of power with like that's good. It's a nice touch. I like that. On the other hand,
they're going to be lost in like an hour.
Yeah. On the other hand, I just want to play. Delirical works at Toys R Us. Okay. I just want to play the game. I don't want to stop playing the game to play with Legos. If I want to play with Legos, I'll play with Legos. You're interrupting my gameplay. It's why people don't read the instructions, because they want to play the game. You ready to play the game? Yeah, well, you better build the damn portal of power first, or you ain't playing anything.
I think you can play it without doing it. It's just kind of like how it looks.
Yeah.
But I just love the fact that I saw it. It's a game box that also has like a parts list on the front of it. It's like 250 something blocks, and then
Old School says, will kids even know what Legos are 5 years from now? Probably. I mean, they're making a Lego movie 2. I think they're trying to spin off Lego Batman into its own movie.
They are.
Yeah, it's called Batman versus Superman.
Give me just a sec. I'll be right back.
Sure. Matthew says, I haven't been to a GameStop in years. I'm a PC gamer, so GameStop is useless to me. The only time I go into a GameStop is when I need, for instance, if I'm doing a guide and I don't get a review copy, and I have to buy it myself, I'll usually go into a GameStop to pick it up. So
I'm back.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
So we're pretty much done with the show. Let's talk a couple more geeky things before we get out of here. Did you see the Jurassic World poster with what's her name with the red hair and the white outfit staring down the Indominus Rex?
No, actually, I was getting more of a laugh at the Lego one with the footprint with the block in it.
Oh, well, that's good. One thing, there's a picture of the Bryce Dallas Howard, I think is her name. She's
Okay.
standing on one side of security glass, looking out at the containment unit that has the new Indominus Rex, and it's staring her in the face. But in the poster, the Indominus Rex is over twice the size as the Indominus Rex actually is in the movie. Indominus Rex is literally T-Rex size.
Right.
Even the website says they're both 40 feet. The Indominus is bigger and bulkier and badder, but it's essentially T-Rex size, and the poster makes it look approaching Godzilla size.
Yeah,
And I'm
but
thinking,
they're probably trying to get that crowd.
yeah, I'm like, I hate it when posters do that. I think if the marketing is trying to trump up the size, is Indominus Rex just not that impressive? Is that why you have to do this?
I would still be pretty terrified to have that coming at me, regardless.
Well, yeah. Did you see the Batman versus Superman trailer?
Yes, I did, and you can tell they're pulling heavily from Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. I think they got the suit right. I actually do like how the suit looks.
The Batman suit?
Yeah, both of the ones they showed. I was actually quite happy.
A lot of people are joking that the really armored I'm about to throw down with Superman suit looks very much like the because the very blocky headpiece looks like the Lego Batman headpiece. Yeah,
I can see kind of the joke they're going with that, but if you go back and look at the actual original book, or even the really well done animated version, yeah, it really does look like that.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I saw the animated film; it was pretty good.
Yeah. Have you seen Star Wars trailer?
I did. We'll get to that.
Okay.
The Batman voice.
I don't think that was his voice.
Well, you mean
where
he says the line is do you bleed? You will. But it is auto-tuned or vocaloided all to hell. I mean, you thought Christian Bale, do you bleed? You will. Doing that. This one's digitally altered. So
I don't think it's Bruce.
Maybe not. But if it's in the trailer, it plays as if Batman is speaking to Superman and saying that.
Right.
And if that's a vocal, but it sounds like a voice disguiser that's built into his Batman suit. So it makes a little. So I think I might be a little bit easier, more accepting of it than I was with Christian Bale in any of the three movies.
Right. A couple ideas we talked about, and we're thinking, one, it could be Luther, because he's talking through over, some of the opening part there. And, he always has that big armor and that suit he's using. He could very well be speaking out of it or through something else. Another one is like maybe there could be a cameo of like Metallo or someone that is going to have that kind of messed up, robotic voice. I don't see him going with that with a Batman. It just, I don't know. I've seen him do horrible things.
It does seem kind of out of character for Batman to say, "I'm going to make you bleed." It's like, Jesus.
There was a line from the book. It's like, in all of your darkest days when you're by yourself and alone, you'll remember I'm the one that beat you.
Mm-hmm.
He'll say stuff like that, but he doesn't normally talk about bleeding people out or stuff like that.
Yeah. So it's still really dour.
I like the fact that they're not, Superman's not this angelic. They play on that whole thing, the Messianic look of it, where people are kind of for him, but also against him. After they've rebuilt Metropolis, after that whole fight and everything that happened, people are kind of go back and forth. But then there's a lot of questions about some people are going so far as to worship him.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't look like he likes it. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things they could be doing with this. I'm just hoping it will have some fun in it. I don't mean cheesy and silly, but all of the marketing so far is just dour and depressing and unhappy.
Yeah, I mean, the story they're pulling from is pretty damn dark.
Well, yeah, but I mean, even
Even the other really dark ones they've done from
Yeah.
Plant have had some hilarious parts.
I mean, Winter
Look at
Soldier
Watchmen.
had some pretty dark stuff in it, but I mean, it's a heavy spy 70s era espionage thriller.
Yeah.
And Daredevil. Did you see Daredevil?
Oh, so good.
That's probably the darkest that any of the MCU stuff has been, but it's still fun. People bleed all over the place, but it's still fun. You know,
that fight at the end of the second episode, though.
Very good. Very good.
So good.
So let me actually check the YouTube comments here because I've been ignoring them, and I'm sorry.
I'm afraid to even look at comments because if I try and do anything, I'm afraid to log myself out because I don't mess with Google Hangouts that much.
BDX 777 asks, "Do we like fried chicken?"
Yes.
Well, I eat a lot of chicken, like at least a pound a day. Because of protein, it's a great source of protein. So I eat a lot of chicken. I never have it fried. Roasted is how I eat it. So thanks for the random question. Joe Flyer says, "Whoa, dude, your room is huge with so much empty space. So jealous." Yeah, that happens when you have no furniture. I was in a very small studio. So really the only major furniture I had was the desk, which is right here, the dresser, which the television is sitting on, the bed, which is actually in the bedroom. I have a bedroom now, and that's it. So most people would have like a couch.
I'm sitting on one.
Right about here. I don't have a couch. I do have a dining room table, which, see, that's actually plastic patio furniture. But because that's what was sitting out on my porch in my last room, so that's a stand-in for my dining room table right now. Okay, so Batman, Man of Steel did not work as a movie. I didn't think it was a very good movie. I felt it was watchable. I felt it was reasonably entertaining in parts, but overall, I didn't think it worked as a movie.
I'm curious to see how its context, if it'll change at all when connected with the second film, if that will, reinterpret some of the stuff or open up different views of it.
That's possible. They may do Batman versus Superman so perfect that you go back and rewatch Man of Steel and go, wow, it just
certain things might make more sense, And I think they're going to look back at the parts of that, given how they keep showing like the memorial of him on the middle of the city and so forth. And when they're talking about for the voice, there's other characters like we haven't seen the part of like Wonder Woman and stuff like that. That there's other characters that are going to come into play. That there could be whole scenes with them fighting that they could be facing Metallo or something like that. Where
it'll be interesting to see how much Wonder Woman, Aquaman at all, if they do more than just cameo in this film.
Right.
Interested to see what they do with it. So, so people are asking about, and you mentioned earlier, the Star Wars trailer.
I'm just too excited.
I am dead inside. I watched the Star Wars trailer and I felt nothing.
Really? I nerded out. I'm not going to lie.
If it was back in the late 90s, I would have, or even possibly in the first half of the 2000s, I would have nerded out. But I think Lucas killed all of my enthusiasm for Star Wars. Really, and it wasn't quite the prequels. That's what they're called. It wasn't quite the prequels that were the straw that broke the camel's back. What it really was the staunch refusal to release the versions of the original trilogy that I know and love on DVD, because there was a release. They did a DVD or Blu-ray release, and no original. They were the special editions. I said nope, and then they finally did the original versions, but they weren't anamorphic widescreen, and the sound was all screwed up. They weren't. They took no. Yeah, and it was that was the time where I was like, okay, I just don't care anymore. If Disney now, but if Disney actually released the versions of Star Wars that I know and love on disc now, I don't know that I would buy them.
Really?
Maybe I just need to watch them. I need to.
Just this morning, whenever we go in and do college work on the weekends, there's a small group of us that go in, and we'll take one of the big screen TVs that's in the lab, and we'll start with episode 4, and we'll start watching all of the original Star Wars. And this is the original version. Han shot first. None of these extra crap running around. There's no extra singers in Jabba's palace. It's just the original. But it was actually a really nice digital version that someone had ripped. And I own multiple copies of it. And I'm not normally one for downloading movies, but I was like, all right, I got these so I can watch them as they're meant to be, as close as I can in this way. And so we still have that kind of excitement and love for Star Wars for the original series. We never really watched the 3 newer ones, but we keep watching the old ones and loving it. So this is kind of nice to see that continuing on.
Yeah. Maybe I just need to pull out my old VHS tapes of the original trilogy and watch them again just to get that old Star Wars magic. Now, I didn't dislike the Star Wars trailer. I didn't find anything objectionable. I just felt nothing. There was just nothing there.
It's very much a teaser. It's not like really showing a lot of the context, but it makes you wonder, kind of like that first scene where you have the wrecked X-Wing and then you see a wrecked Star Destroyer behind it. Like, what happened there? And you got to realize this is after the Battle of Endor, 30 years later. So this is kind of like them still trying to finish off what's left of the Empire. Because people joked like, oh, great, they're celebrating because they blew up the Death Star. There's a whole galaxy of Empire still hanging around. And it looks like they're actually going to cover that, which is good. They're not just kind of dancing with Ewoks to forget about it.
And I do like that the Empire is now called the First Order.
I'm curious how that whole political scene is going to be.
Although the rebellion is called something else now.
Someone was talking
Resistance, something.
Yeah, there might be like 3 different factions going on now.
Yeah. But I will go see the film. I would actually like to see the. I would like to see the Star Wars Rebels. I hear it got some really great reviews, so I'd like to check that out. I'd like to check out the later seasons of the Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the animated series. I saw the very first Clone Wars stuff. That was
the Tartakovsky one.
Yeah, the 2D stuff was only like 2 or 3 minutes long, and I was like, eh.
No, it was 2 DVDs. Like, they actually put them together in a full movie, and it was kind of cool. It would pick up at the end of the second film, and then you'd go through all of it. And he actually stopped doing Samurai Jack for a while to do this. And right at the very last scene where the DVD ends is exactly where the third movie starts, where they're flying to get Palpatine. So they're show him going from one, it then converts over to the real life movie and keeps going. I was like, all right, that's actually very well done.
Yeah, I don't dislike Star Wars. Don't get me wrong. I can't work up any. Yeah, I got burned, and I can't work up any enthusiasm. And it bothers me because I used to be such a huge Star Wars fan.
I think part of my thing is I've been able to share it with my kids, and we get excited about it together, and we watch the old movies, we play the games,
Maybe we need another Rogue Squadron because those games were good. And I do apologize that it's dark now, but I don't have any lights. For some reason, apartments do not have overhead lighting anymore. They're not. This is a flat ceiling. There's nothing. There's no overhead light fixture, so it's dark. I'm sorry. I will at some point get a halogen lamp or something to put over there in the corner, but for now it is dark.
Your face just kind of goes in.
That's right. I can lean back into the shadows. I could turn on my there's a light in the kitchen. There's a light in the bathroom. That's not going to help here, though.
I do one more movie trailer that came out. I don't know if you've watched. Some people haven't really paid attention to, but Ant-Man.
Yes, I saw that trailer too. I'm interested. Of course, I'll see anything the Marvel MCU, the MCU now. The train gag was perfect. If that's not a fluke, if the whole movie is like that, it's in the bag.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that they're playing with a sense of humor with it, with them not liking the name Ant-Man and, stuff like Paul Rudd's conversation, with with the other guy talking about how, like,
Michael
I've turned everything around. I'm not gonna break into places and steal things anymore. It's like, what do you need me to do? I need to break into a place and steal some stuff. It's like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I like it. It's interesting that this is Marvel. They may change their minds on this, but they consider Ant-Man a Phase 2 movie, yet it comes out after the new Avengers film.
Yeah, it's kind of. I think it handles some of the aftermath, and it's kind of interesting that they're using Hank Pym in that way because, the original comics, Hank Pym was the creator of Ultron.
Yeah, right.
And then Ultron made Vision, so now it's kind of backwards.
Yeah,
now,
it looks like
Ultron's being made, and then Hank Pym is going to react to it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and I like the idea that Hank Pym existed as Ant-Man, and possibly Wasp was there too with Janet, because their kid Hope is in this one. I don't know if she'll be Wasp or not, but I like the idea that we had a Captain America running around in the 40s, and we had Agent Carter in the early bits of S.H.I.E.L.D. running around in the later 40s and 50s, and you had Ant-Man actually running around in I don't know what it would have been, the 70s or 80s. I like the idea that this stuff was always there, and it'll be interesting to see if they somehow go back and explore 80s era Ant-Man.
It's a nice way to do it. I mean, it's kind of the big difference with Marvel and DC. Marvel has become really successful with it because their movies are already fantastically done. But then on top of that, they're doing really good with the TV shows and adding those in as part of the actual continuity, where you go see the movie and now you can see the the aftermath on like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or after the Avengers, you're hearing about it on like Daredevil, where they're talking about that's part of why Hell's Kitchen's being rebuilt, and that's going to lead into some of the other ones.
That was a really clever tie-in. The Chitauri invasion is why Hell's Kitchen went straight to hell, because it was very near ground zero. Yeah,
it was already bad enough. Now they're doing all the rebuilding, and they're going to bring that in, more with Luke Cage and some of the other stuff they're doing before they make their Defenders movie.
Yeah,
which is a Netflix one.
Right. I think Jessica Jones is next.
Yes. Okay.
And then Luke Cage and Iron Fist.
Oh, they are going to have Iron Fist? You need to. They've only said Luke Cage that I've seen, but...
Well, really, they had a lot of Iron Fists set up in... well, not a lot, but they had some Iron Fist with Madame Gao and stuff setting up the Iron Fist universe in Daredevil.
Right.
With her heroine. The symbol on the heroine is... one of Iron Fist's nemesis. I don't remember who.
Yeah, and it's not really a spoiler too much. I'm not gonna say anything on that, but like dealing with what looks like the hand, and part of it that kind of ties up
with Nobu and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to them doing more. I mean, I hope they do more seasons of each of these shows because they're so well done.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it even after watching it and watching the tone and where they were willing to go, I'm thinking, oh man, you have to do a Punisher show.
I think they could do it right. I mean, and I think Thomas Jane wants to come back and do it. The guy I liked him as that.
I haven't seen that version. I did see the Ray Wise version, and I really liked it. I thought it was quite.
That's the more recent one, isn't it?
The more recent one, yeah.
That one was kind of slavish to the comic, but man, they picked a guy that looked just like the artwork. I was like,
yeah, wow. Yeah. Ray Wise, it was great. Although he's playing one of the Warriors 3 in the Thor movies.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember their names, but the wider guy with the beard.
Oh wow, I did not know that was him.
Yeah, it's him. So,
but going back to my original point, I said Marvel sets up this whole universe where it all connects with their TV shows and so forth. DC is still kind of scattershot with their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Their movies they're trying to do better with, but like their TV shows are doing fantastic. The Flash and Arrow, it's the first show in a while I will religiously watch every week. I make sure I see it. Constantine is probably the best version of that character, that whole part of the DC universe. And they're actually getting the jump on Marvel because they're not starting their kind of mystic part until later on with Doctor Strange. Well, they've already got Constantine, Dr. Fate, and all these people being shown. But they're like, okay, we're going to make our movies, and we're just going to wipe the board of the TV shows and keep it going, even though we've built up all this universe, and they're starting to connect with each other.
and a successful and beloved universe too. I mean, the
Yeah.
Flash and Arrow are really, really popular, and they're talking about spinning off some of the characters from that show. It
Yeah.
it is kind of weird that Warner DC seems to want to keep that so separate from the cinematic universe.
Because like they announced, the guy that was the guy that's playing Barry Allen in the Flash,
Mhm.
and that's probably, other than the actual representation of him in the Justice League cartoon, this is probably the best version of him I've seen. I mean, I like the '90s show. I loved it. I love the fact they still tie in with that. Like, this is an alternate, almost like another world from that. Like, if the Flash hadn't existed, these people were still there, and it continues on. But right as they started that, they were like, okay, here's who we're going to have the Flash in the movies. And they're like, so you're already scrapping it? Like, we're really liking it. And you're already like, oh, here's the new Flash.
Well, maybe it'll be Wally West Flash or something. Probably not. I think they're
I think
just,
they've already said Barry Allen. I mean,
yeah, I think they're keeping it separate. But you know what actually is interesting me a lot more than Batman versus Superman, and good Lord, they need to change that name, is Suicide Squad. That really has, piques my interest. That really has my attention. I'm really curious to see what they're doing with that.
I want to see a little bit more of what the group looks like together.
Oh yeah,
I mean, we haven't seen it, but right now it's just been like, the real light. They've painted his hair green, and what Leto looks like. But
well, it's just the idea of it. It seems to be going in that crazy fun direction that DC Warner seems loath to go. I mean, you have.
Well, that's kind of another example though, because they did the Suicide Squad on Arrow, and they actually did a really good job with that.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they actually, one of the most recent episodes had the Suicide Squad with Deadshot and a bunch of them. So it's
another example of the universes being completely separate.
Yep.
Well, I believe a Joker showed up on Gotham at one point.
They had a kid that I don't know where they got this kid, but the way his face looks, I'd be kind of creeped out regardless. No offense to him, but good Lord, he smiled. I'm like, I'm uncomfortable. But he had that kind of that manic, actions and the way he looked. I could see him becoming the Joker, but they were smart to never outright say it.
Yeah.
They still leave it a mystery. This could be him. Is it someone else? They're not so in your face like they are with like the Riddler and them.
Yeah, I've heard the Riddler is very on the nose.
Well, they did it on purpose, but you find yourself like, okay, you have his obsession with riddles, which we all knew. And even in the cartoons and the comics, he started off as a good person who loved riddles. But you're starting to see him kind of turn towards that. And I'm like, when will he finally snap and start becoming more of the Riddler? And it's kind of cool to see that play out.
Yeah. Okay, let me check YouTube one more time. And we are... Soviet Firewolf says Battlestar Galactica. Okay.
Never really watched much of the old one. I liked the new one, but never really watched the second series after that, though.
I watched the old one when I was very, very young, and I loved it because robots and lasers and spaceships and stuff.
I had Star Trek.
I have fond memories of the Battlestar Galactica portion of the Universal Studios tram tour, which is no longer there.
Wow.
But I never saw... I have not seen the more recent show, so...
You should. I think it's on Netflix.
Delirical says the Batman Assault on Arkham animated movie is really good, and it deals with... Yeah, I heard it did, and the Suicide Squad is in it. Yeah,
that's something else DC does right. Their animated group is so much better than the Marvel one.
Oh yeah, Marvel is
hit and miss.
At best, hit and miss. Yeah,
they're almost polar opposites. DC kind of messes up their movies, while Marvel gets them right. And then Marvel's getting better with their TV shows, but DC's been getting really good with them. It just kind of back and forth.
Yeah, although the cartoon show Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes was pretty darn good.
Yeah.
So
still love Young Justice though, but they canceled it.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it, but I heard that. Yeah,
you need to. I mean, the ending is not the best because of how they cut it off, but it's such a good series. And it's one of the few where they have the first season's one time point, and then there's like a 2 or 3 year difference between that and the next season.
Season
but they handle it great.
5 years or something.
Yeah, they handle it really well.
Good. Okay. Well, I am nothing but a creepy, disembodied floating head. So I think that's enough show for tonight. Jeremy, thank you for filling in for Zachary. Always great to
Anytime.
have you on the show.
Yeah, I love coming
So,
in here.
so let's plug our stuff and get out of here.
Okay.
My name is Andrew Eisen. Eisen is how you spell the last name. Plug it into YouTube. You'll find all my YouTube videos. Twitter is at Andrew Eisen, and Facebook is Andrew Eisen YouTube. So you can find me in all those places. Jeremy, plug away.
All right. Everyone knows me as Jeremy Powers. I'm also at Zenspath on Twitter, ZENSPATH. And pretty much like he said, you can search Zenspath and you'll find our main site, our Facebook page, our YouTube and stuff like that. We're not as much active as right now as we are because I'm kind of finishing up my last few semesters of school, but I'm active on Twitter a lot, but I'm always up for playing games, talking to people and so forth. So hit me up.
All right. You've been watching Super Podcast Action Committee episode 139. You can send us email at superpackpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at superpackpodcast. Subscribe and rate us on iTunes. I think that still works. And and like us on Facebook. Actually, I think iTunes is only current as of February.
Ooh.
I've been trying to talk to James about that. I'm not sure if I know the RSS doesn't work because our Libsyn thing expired. We're trying to find a new home for it. But I think we can still get stuff on iTunes. I got to talk to James about that. So I'll try and get on that. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Hope to see you back here next week, Saturday night, GamePolitics.com, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Dream Peppers, dude. 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Hope to see you all there. All right. See you next week. Bye.
Peace.